Hello, this is Dalia again, and I'm reading The Vampire Diaries, The Awakening, and I'm on chapter 15, and I don't know which. I know it's chapter 15, but I'm not sure what part. I can't remember. I think it's part 3. I'm not sure. What more proof do you need, Stefan? I'm as much stronger than you as you are stronger than this pitiful humans. Faster than you too, and I have other powers you're scarcely heard of. The old powers, Stefan, and I'm not afraid to use them. If you fight me, I'll use them against you. Is that what you came here for, to torture me? I've been merciful with you, brother. Many times you've been mine for the killing, but I've always spared your life. But this time is different. Damon stepped away from the tree again and spoke aloud. I am warning you, Stefan, don't oppose me. It doesn't matter what I came here for. What I want now is Elena. And if you try to stop me from taking her, I will kill you. You could try, said Stefan. The hot pinpoint of fury inside him burned brighter than ever, pouring forth its brilliance like a whole galaxy of stars. He knew somehow that it threatened Damon's darkness. You think I can't do it? You never learn, do you, little brother?
I made a point, and I get it. I give it back. What? I didn't take it.
Stefan had just enough time to note Damon's weary shake of the head when there was another blur of motion, and he felt strong hands seize him. He was fighting instantly, violently, trying with all his strength to throw him off, but they were like hands of steel. He lashed out savagely, trying to strike at the vulnerable area under Damon's jaw. It did no good. His arms were pinioned behind him, his body immobilized. He was as helpless as a bird under the claws of a lean and expert cat. He went limp for an instant, making himself a dead weight, and when he suddenly surged with all his muscles trying to break free, trying to get a blow in, the cruel hands only tightened on him. Making his struggles useless and pathetic. You always were stubborn. Perhaps this will convince you. Stefan looked into his brother's face, pale as the frosted glass windows at the boarding house, and at those black, bottomless eyes. Then he felt fingers grasp his hair, jerk his head back, and exposing his throat. His struggles redoubled, became frantic. Don't bother, came the voice in his head, and then he felt the sharp, rending pain of teeth. He felt the humiliation and helplessness of the hunter's victim, or of the hunted, of the prey, and then the pain of blood being drawn out against his will. He refused to give in to it, and the pain grew worse. A feeling as if his soul was tearing loose like the sapling, stabbed through him like spears of fire, concentrating on the punctures in his flesh where Damon's teeth had sunk in. Agony flamed up in his jaw and cheek and down his chest and shoulder. He felt a wave of vertigo and realized he was losing consciousness. Then abruptly, the hands released him and he fell to the ground, onto a bed of damp and moldering oak leaves. Gasping for breath, he painfully got to his hands and knees. You see, little brother, I'm stronger than you, strong enough to take you. Take your blood and your life if I wish it. Leave Elena to me, or I will. Stefan looked up. Damon was standing with head thrown back, legs slightly apart like a conqueror, putting his foot on the neck of the conquered. Those night-black eyes were hot with triumph, and Stefan's blood was on his lips. Hatred filled Stefan, such hatred as if he had never known before. It was as if all his earlier hatred of Damon had been a drop of water to this crashing, foaming ocean. Many times in the last long centuries, he had regretted what he had done to his little brother. He had regretted what he had done to his brother, when he'd wished with all his soul to change it. Now he only wanted to do it again. Elena, it's not yours, he ground out, getting to his feet. Trying not to show what an effort it cost him, and she never will be, concentrating on each step, putting one foot in front of the other, he began walking away. His entire body hurt, and the shame he felt was even greater than the physical ache. There were bits of wet leaves and crumbs of earth all over his clothes, but he did not brush them off. He fought us to keep moving and to hold out against the weakness that lapped at his limbs. You never learn, brother. Stefan did look back and try to reply. He gritted his teeth and kept his legs moving. Another step, another step, another step. If he could just sit down for a moment and rest. Another step, another step. The car couldn't be so far now. Leaves cracked under his feet, and then he heard leaves cracking behind him. He tried to run quickly, but his reflexes were almost gone, and the sharp motion was too much for him. Darkness filled him, filled his body and his mind, and he was falling. He fell forever into the black of absolute night, and then mercifully he knew no more. Okay, so now we're going on to 16, and I will continue.